What would you do if a simple photograph revealed a secret that had been hidden for years? This isn't what it looks like. A struggling single father takes a job caring for a paralyzed billionaire, known for driving everyone away. But on his very first day, he notices a picture on her desk, and what he sees leaves him completely stunned. As questions turn into shocking discoveries, both of their lives are changed forever in ways neither could have imagined. Stay with us until the end to uncover this emotional and unforgettable story of loss, hope, and family reunions. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring stories. Let's get started. The morning air in Manhattan carried the familiar sounds of traffic, distant sirens, and hurried footsteps as Ethan Brooks stepped out of the subway station. Dressed in a simple button-down shirt and carrying a worn leather bag, he looked nothing like the wealthy people who worked in the towering glass buildings around him. For the last 8 years, his life had revolved around one thing: raising his daughter Lily. Every decision he made, every extra shift he worked, and every sacrifice he accepted was for her. When he received an offer to work as a personal assistant and caregiver for billionaire Victoria Sterling, he almost turned it down. The stories about her were everywhere. Employees called her impossible to please. Caregivers rarely lasted more than a week. Some left in tears while others walked out in frustration still. Ethan needed the opportunity. The salary was enough to secure Lily's future and finally ease the financial pressure that had followed him for years. As he entered Victoria's luxurious penthouse overlooking Central Park, he was greeted by an atmosphere that felt strangely cold despite the elegant surroundings. Expensive artwork decorated the walls, and every piece of furniture looked perfect, yet there was no warmth in the home. Moments later, Victoria entered the room in her wheelchair. Her sharp eyes immediately studied him. She didn't smile or offer a greeting. Instead, she simply handed him a list of responsibilities and instructed him to begin organizing documents in her office. Ethan nodded and got to work without complaint while sorting contracts and business files. He noticed a framed photograph sitting neatly on the corner of her desk. It stood out because it was the only personal item in the entire office. The picture showed a young girl around Lily's age, smiling brightly at the camera. Ethan paused. Something about the child seemed familiar. The shape of her eyes, the curve of her smile, even her expression reminded him of his daughter. He stared for a moment longer, unable to explain the strange feeling growing inside him. Before returning to his work, the image stayed in Ethan's mind for the rest of the day. No matter how hard he tried to focus on his tasks, he kept remembering the little girl in the photograph. By evening, the penthouse had grown quiet. Most of the staff had left, and the setting sun painted the skyline outside in shades of orange and gold. Ethan was helping Victoria organize a stack of business reports when he finally gathered the courage to ask the question that had been bothering him for hours. "I hope you don't mind me asking," he said carefully, "but who is the little girl in the picture on your desk?" For a moment, Victoria's hands froze. The cold, distant expression she had worn all day seemed to crack. She looked away and stared out the window. Ethan immediately regretted bringing it up, but before he could apologize, she spoke in a quiet voice. "Her name is Emily," she said. "She's my daughter." The answer surprised him. Everything he had heard about Victoria painted her as a ruthless businesswoman with no family. Yet the sadness in her eyes told a completely different story. Victoria took a slow breath before continuing. Years earlier, during a bitter custody battle with her former husband, Emily had disappeared despite private investigators, legal teams, and years of searching. Victoria had never found her. The case eventually went cold, but she never stopped hoping. The photograph on her desk was the last picture she had before Emily vanished as Victoria spoke. Ethan felt an uneasy feeling settle in his chest. The resemblance between the girl in the picture and Lily suddenly seemed even more striking. He pulled out his phone and opened a recent photo of his daughter. "At a school event, I know this might sound strange," he said softly, showing her the image. "But doesn't she look familiar?" Victoria stared at the screen. The color drained from her face as shock and disbelief filled her eyes. Suddenly, the mystery that had haunted her for years no longer seemed impossible to solve.